Welcome to East Knoxville. So East Knoxville is the most diverse area of Knoxville. It also has a very deep history. And when people think of East Knoxville, you normally think of the Knoxville Zoo, Tennessee Valley Fair, maybe the Botanical Gardens, but it is so much more than that. I'm Brian Brooks. I grew up here in East Knoxville. So basically born and raised. Went to elementary school, middle school, high school, all here in this area. Got my first job here, started my first business here, met my wife, started my family here. So I've seen a lot of the good in our area as well as some of the bad. And I don't know if you've noticed as we've been driving, we've not passed any grocery stores or any healthy food locations. And that's food disparity. Luckily, I'm not the only one passionate about helping East Knoxville. I want to introduce you to Chris Battle. He has Battlefield Farms, and their focus is about bringing fresh produce and fresh foods to people right where they are.
I moved here to Knoxville in 2008, and the question that I was raising was how can we as a church transform a culture? There had been a recent study that only 20% of Knoxvillians were going to church on a regular basis, and this is the buckle of the Bible Belt. And I began to wonder, if people aren't coming to our churches, do we need to do church differently? And then we started the community garden. And it was in the midst of that I learned about food disparity and what it means to be in a food desert and the ill effects it has on the community. The USDA says that if 1/3 of your community lives at poverty level and is more than a mile away from the nearest grocery store or farmer's market, that you're considered a food desert. From this point here, we are 2 miles away from the nearest grocery store. Your zip code shouldn't determine your access to available fresh food and vegetables. So we ended up starting a community garden, and we're out there. I'm out there every morning. And what happened in that first 6 months, I met more people in the community during that time than the 10 years I had in my office. And then it hit me. Maybe this is how we do church. And that's become the beauty of this place for me. We not only serve a need where we are reaching people through our veggie van and through our farmers market that we established, but the second aspect, in which the bigger aspect for me, the kingdom aspect of it is that people come to this place who wouldn't come to our church. And ultimately, our goal is that they will ask the question, why do I do what I do? And that's when I get to tell them I do it because of Jesus. I do it because I love the Lord, and I do it because I love you. That's what gives me my ultimate purpose. That's what I believe I was called to do, was to share the love of Christ. But I just do it through okra and collard greens and not from a pulpit.
Thanks to Chris and Battlefield Farms, one day East Knox residents will have stability with their food. Another person I want to introduce you to is my friend, Kira Wyatt. She runs Connect Ministries, and she is passionate about seeing people fight their way through the battle of poverty.
I believe that Knoxville is a sanctuary city, that we have always had the volunteer spirit. We have always advocated for those that were least, last, and lost. Some people did not know that 37915 is the 27th zip code in the United States that has the largest poverty. That is unacceptable. There is a great need for housing, for love, for spiritual awakenings, compassion. I want to see Knoxville change their attitude about poverty, about homelessness, and who's valued and who is not valued. That we are feeding the hungry, making sure that everybody has every need met and an opportunity to come up. I cannot stress that enough. So I challenge you Whether you're an individual, whether you're a pastor, whether you are just a citizen, whoever you are, church, to really look at the Christian message and how we are supposed to take care of the poor, the widows, the strangers, and the orphans. And I challenge you to be a good steward over the good gifts that the Lord has given you to make a difference in somebody else's life.
You know, because of Kira's passion and love for people, one day East Knoxville will not have to worry about where their next paycheck's coming from or how to take care of their families. This is our last stop on the tour of East Knoxville. We're at Sharps Ridge, a place where I love to come at least once a week to greet God in the morning, about 15 minutes before sunrise. It's where I pray over East Knox and I dream about what East Knox can be. And this Heart for the Harvest, one of the things I'm asking for you to do is to give. Your giving will help us to have an outreach center where we can store supplies, have meeting space for small groups, prayer inside rather than just in the park. But lastly, and most importantly, I encourage you to pray. Pray for all the initiatives that you heard about today, from fighting food disparity and poverty, but also pray for revival. Pray for revival for East Knox, the place where I grew up, the place where I love, the place where you live, because we're all in this together. And to see East Knox have the revival that God has called for it to have, how amazing will that be? Thank you for joining us in this.